All right, just to get it out of the way now, so we can talk about the season, if you could just, what went into the decision to scratch Jacko?
Trying to win a hockey game and just dressing my lineup. So when we sit down and talk about our lineup, that's what we do. We love the kid. He's a good player. He's a good young player, but we just thought the best lineup was trying to win that game.
From a strategic standpoint, though, was there something that you saw in his game that maybe didn't fit the situation, or something?
It's not about his game. It's about the team game and the lineup. And, like I told you, in most of the games, we had some game time decisions on certain people. So that's the way we made it up. If this guy didn't play, if this guy played, so that's how we went into the game. We weren't sure what the lineup was going to be during the warm-up.
If they're all back next year, do you ever envision that line, that kid line that we call it, do you think that's a line that can have some?
Well, they'll all be back.
Well, if they, never know, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Do you think that line can have staying power? Do you like that line in particular?
Yeah, that's a possibility, but again, they could be on all three different lines in different positions, when you look at our lineup and we see what happens there's a lot of free agents and restricted free agents, so, Drew's got a lot of work to do, obviously, like every GM does in the next couple of weeks here, next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but they could be a real good line together, and also we could move different guys in bigger roles, and that's going to be part of it too. But they're all going to be key players for us next year. That's the three of those kids for sure.
Is there a particular ingredient you feel that you need to add in order to get from here to there?
No, I think we added a lot of that with experience. Our team was good all season long, but I think the big thing and the confidence booster we got was when we added those players at the trade deadline. I think the same thing is going to be said with a lot of teams going forward. The way the salary cap is, you got your team, but when you add some pieces at the time when you can make things happen, that got us over the hump, and we played real good hockey with adding those people. And who knows what the team's going to look like in September, but it'll be interesting to see. And do I think we would have went that far if we didn't add people? No. It would have been real tough, but adding some real good pieces helped us go a long way.
How do you balance the triumph of the regular season with the disappointment of the way it ended at the end? How do you...
I was disappointed after the game, but I wasn't disappointed with the performance we had in the playoffs. We played 20 playoff games. We finished 10-10 against real good hockey teams, and we battled right till the end. So the games we lost was, close scoring games. I think we ran out of gas, like we talked about the other night, not to make an excuse, but when you play 20 games in 40 days of playoff hockey, it's pretty tough. But I'm proud of our guys. I think we took major steps, and it's going to help us in the future.
Do you say this is
Dan can't say we got no experience starting the playoffs next year.
Do you
joking.
view this, is this a successful season for the New York Rangers?
100%. 100%. Now, did I want to win and be selfish and win my first Stanley Cup? I sure did. A lot of players down there did too, but I'm real happy. I'm leaving here today, going home, and proud of our season.
What do you think comes out of the day-to-day playoff grind for the young guys that they can take with them?
Well, next year if we get there, it's going to be a battle to make the playoffs again next year. But if you get there next year, you know what to expect a little bit more. It's going to be a grind. You got to battle every game, and nothing came easy. 2 7-game series against real good teams, lose against the Stanley Cup champions in 6 games, and take the first 2 games in battle. But we lost 3 games by 1 goal, so they were battles.
When you evaluate what you guys need to do to take that next step to get to where Tampa and Colorado are, what do you see as the next step for this team?
This year, keep doing. We got young kids that are getting older. We got a nice window here coming up if everybody keeps developing, playing well. So I don't think we have to do a whole lot much different.
You don't, add more speed, add more...
No, I'm happy. No, none of it.
You think as long as the kid, for you, it's more about the kids progressing.
Progressing, yeah. And there's the Bannerjets had a good playoff run. The Kreiders, those guys that more experienced with their veteran players. So, no, I like the build of our team. I like what I'm seeing with our team. And we're going to see what's going to happen, obviously, with free agents and stuff like that. But I'm real happy with our group.
Do you think part of it is also learning how to play with a series lead? Because this last series was the first one that you had.
No, not at all. Not at all, Molly. No.
When you talk about being proud of your guys, what are you proud of when you describe this season?
Well, there was no quit. You know, it's something that the guys rallied around all season long, and again, there was a lot of, during the early part of the season, we didn't think we were that good a hockey team, but we were winning games. We talked about that, you know. I wasn't gonna say we're no good, but we were winning games because of our goalie. Then we got better, and we got better, we got better during the season. In the playoffs, we get better again, so it's, and again, it's not always about the young kids, but they matured a lot. I mean, you know, they got better, they got stronger, got used to playing hockey together, and I like the way we progressed all season long. Our star players were real good hockey players all year, and again, we relied on our goalie quite a bit, but he's a big part of our team. Tampa Bay relies on Vasilevsky a bit too, so that's part of your group, and I like our group a lot. Moving forward, we're gonna have a real good team, and again, next year's a long ways away, but there's gonna be real good teams, and you're gonna have to battle again to make the playoffs. It's you look at our conference, and it's a battle.
Can you describe what, I mean, I know you said it all year long, that's what Igor is, but just what he brought in the playoffs, night in, night out.
He brought the same thing as he brought every regular season game. He's been outstanding. He gives you a chance to win every night. He builds confidence to your group. You know, you don't got to be perfect, and there's not a lot of perfect teams in the NHL.
If you look at two players in particular, Alexei Lafreniere and Kako, when you send them off now into their off season, sure, it's get better everywhere, right? I understand that.
Yeah.
Are there particular things with those two players that you have, that you were like, do this, we need more of this?
I think it's just confidence, building more confidence. I mean, want to be star players. I think Laffy took a big step physically. Like he played a lot more physical. He was finishing checks harder. He felt he could do that in his game. I mean, he's a skilled player. Did they get the chance to spend as much time in power plays and special teams as young players want? No, they didn't. Neither one of them did. And, you know, I'm not going to blame myself for that because we had one of the best power plays in the NHL. So you're not going to break up a power play to play young kids. We're trying to win games every night. That's what we do. Are these kids going to get more of a chance next year and the years after? Yes. They'll keep developing. They're young players. They both took big steps for me. Kako had missed 8 weeks because of an injury, and that really didn't help him. But we get a lot of confidence in both of them.
Do you see them both potentially as top six guys?
Definitely,
going forward?
100%. We'd be pretty disappointed if they're not.
Chris Kreider had such a special year, 52 goals, everything he accomplished. What impressed you most?
Consistency. He's been, people talked before I got here that he was inconsistent, for 20 games at a time. He was consistent from game one right till the end of the season, game 102, 103, whatever we finished at. I don't know what it was, but played strong, played hard, He was fun to be around.
Did you feel like you had to have much of a conversation with Kako about not playing? How did
No.
he handle that?
No.
Hindsight at this point, obviously, but should Ryan Strome have played game 6?
He wasn't that, he gave us enough, but he couldn't finish the game, so. I don't know, but just, you look at it, he didn't hurt us for sure, but he probably wasn't Ryan Strome, but he wasn't the only one, trust me, like there was other guys that were battling some injuries and.
Anyone dealing with anything that needs
Who?
anyone dealing with anything that needs surgery or major attention now that we're done?
Not that I know of. Again, I'm not gonna talk about individual guys. There was 4 or 5 guys banged up pretty good, and you guys know the guys. It's not like you don't know who it was. But I'm not gonna talk about specific players if they wanna say, what happened to them or what's gonna happen moving forward. But from everything I've heard, there's nothing nobody's not gonna be ready for training camp, that's for sure.
When you think about, and obviously a lot could happen between now and training camp, but when you think about what your ideal forward lineup would look like, do you want more of a shutdown third line going into next season? Would that be something you?
None of the kid line is together. I want them to be scorers, and no. You see where you're at. You don't need the shutdown third line. Your fourth line can be more of a shutdown line if you want, but it depends how much skill and talent you got and what the makeup is. So, but again, we got to see who we're going to get and who we're going to sign and who's going to stay here. So.
I just mean, you.
No, I agree with it. Like if the third line shutdown lines is it's effective in the playoffs sometimes, but if you got I'm not going to tell Lafreniere I want you to be a shutdown guy or Kako to be a shutdown guy. I want them to be skilled guys, and Panarin's not going to be a shutdown guy. So If you got your Goodrows and your Rooneys and those type of players, then a different story.
How would you describe your experience in New York, your first year here?
I was a little scared coming the first time, to be honest with you, but I loved it. It was great. I mean, we had a great team. The only time I go to the city is for games, you know. I mean, we're pretty busy, but I loved to go into the Garden and playing there, and I had a great year. So it was
Coaching this team, what was it like for you?
it was excellent. You know, you get to know your players. There was a lot of guys I didn't know anything about, and now that you go through a year with them, it's great. You know, I mean, I'm real happy with the progress of our team. Obviously, everything went pretty well for us in the regular season, and we had a great playoff. So I'm real happy and looking forward to next year.
What were some of the things that you feel like you did well, and what were some of the things you feel like you could maybe improve on?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I did everything well, Molly. You know what? As a coach, you make your decisions and you live with your decision. You know what I mean? Our job is to go out and try and win as many games as we can, develop the kids as much as we can, and that's what I do. So if I made mistakes along the way, and I know I made lots of mistakes, and everybody does, I don't worry about that. I just do my job to the best of my ability and see what happens.
What was the biggest improvement in Keandre Miller's games from start to finish this season?
Huge, yeah.
What do you think, yeah, like what
I
areas?
think he's a little bit more physical, a little bit more confident in his offensive game and his defensive game. So I think every aspect of his game got better. I really do. And again, I didn't know Keandre a whole lot, but from talking with Gordon Murphy and the people around here, everything got better.
Have you had I mean, you obviously have the chance to speak to Ryan, but, you know, obviously the missed opportunity there in Game 5 with Garden and then the way things ended in Game 6. How have the conversations been with them, and I guess what is...
The conversation since the series?
Yeah, just
I haven't
like-
talked, we slept all day yesterday. I mean, so I haven't talked to any of our players.
I guess I just meant, kind of that was a big moment in Game 5, and then to not be able to be there for part of Game 6.
Yeah, that moment's gone. Like, I mean, the guy makes a pass, he misses the pass, it bounces over, you don't worry, but that's gone.
You mentioned how important the trade deadline guys were. And we know with the salary cap, it's going to be hard to keep everybody. Andrew Kopp in particular, though, what did he prove things to you as far as, do you think he can be a top 6 guy, or what did you learn about him?
Yeah, no, he was great for us. He came in here and did a great job and played excellent hockey. I think he had 6 goals in the playoffs, and you know, he's out there and battled hard and did a lot of good things for us. So yeah, he played a top 6 for us, and usually you can play a top 6 for a team that goes to the conference final. You can play a top 6 in most places. So I like what he done. We all liked him. He worked hard, did his job, and we'll see where it goes. I don't know.
Will you talk to, how do you do it? Do you do exit interviews with every player?
No, I don't.
No, you just,
Chris will do that.
Chris does that?
Yeah. I've done it differently with different teams, but
Do you reach out to guys through the off-season?
during the off season, yeah. We'll chat with guys and see what happens over the next 2 and 3 weeks. And
Gerard, you had 6 alternate captains in that leadership group. You know, there was talk that the team might pick a single captain this year.
we would have won that series. We would have had at least one guy or 2 guys go get that trophy.
I mean, you think there's a need for a single captain for next season?
It's too early to talk about. We're going to talk about that again, obviously, real hard. But right now, we haven't talked about it, me and Chris and the ownership. So it's just too early for that yet. But we'll talk about it and discuss it for sure. But if we could have went a little further, you would have got an indication.
All right. What's your message to the fans of New York in leaving today?
Well, I guess my message to them would be the same as the message the players give me. We're a real good hockey team now. We got a lot of experience, and we're looking forward to next year again. I mean, it's going to be nice to have a little bit of time off here, but we think we got an excellent team moving forward, and we're excited about it.